Ooh, it's time for my daily dose of Sonic. No, not that Sonic. I'm crazy, but I'm not that crazy. Let's see what I should play today. What the hell is this? Sonic CD? I know just what to do with this. Ta-da! CDs are such a novelty, you hardly ever see people use them anymore. They've been pretty much replaced by digital distribution. We've come a long way, but I still fear for an all-digital future, since that's the path we're inevitably heading. I get it's more convenient and saves space, but I still prefer physical media and actually owning a copy instead of a license for it. I just hope it's not leaving anytime soon. Back in the day, we were so used to playing with cartridges, but over time we shifted into using more advanced technology. I was all content using my Sega Genesis throughout my childhood, but in 1991, Sega had this crazy idea of releasing this add-on for the system called the Sega CD. It added more space compared to their old cartridges, and even allowed the use of CD quality audio and full motion video. It was an interesting idea, but it was considered a flop due to its low sales. I mean, 2 million isn't that bad, but it's definitely no smashing success. Probably due to its high price and controversy.
And let me say that for the record, I want to state that Night Trap will never appear on a Nintendo system.
Well, that didn't age well. Despite the poor support and mixed reception of the Sega CD, it does have its niche audience. There are several hidden gems on here, and one of its flagship titles is, of course, Sonic CD. I didn't really play this game growing up. I had a Genesis, but never owned the Sega CD. This was before my time. I was first introduced to this game on the Sonic Gems collection on the GameCube. I've always heard people rave about this game, saying it's one of the best, if not the best, Sonic game ever. Oh, then it must be good. Then I played it and it's just okay. I mean, I really like 2D Sonic and all. Sonic 2 is one of my favorite games of all time after all, but this one always felt off to me. I don't know, it just didn't click with me like Sonic 2 or 3 did. Maybe I had my expectations too high since many people were just praising it left and right. This is why I have trust issues. But to be fair, the Taxman re-release on the 7th gen consoles and mobile devices have improved this game substantially. They added so many quality of life features and it actually made an average game great. I played this version a ton when it came out, but over the years I just sort of grew out of it and stopped playing it. I don't really go back to it very often compared to the other titles. Now I wonder if it actually still holds up today. So I decided to take a revisit and see if this game is really worth all the hype. Or maybe perhaps people are just stuck in the past. Guess there's only one way to find out. Let's share some background of the development of this game. If you watched my Sonic 2 video, hint hint, nudge nudge, then you may know that after the release of Sonic 1, Sonic Team has split into two. One half left to the US to help the American branch develop Sonic 2, while the Japanese branch handled the development of Sonic CD. Sonic CD and Sonic 2 were originally all supposed to be the same game. However, they took a different approach, as you all may know. Take a look at the name Sonic CD, for example. As the title implies, music has played a significant role in this release. This was the first Sonic game to contain vocal tracks. The songs You Can Do Anything and Cosmic Eternity are the prime examples. The soundtrack was created by Nafumi Hataya, and may I say this soundtrack was beautifully composed. This has to be one of my favorites in all of the Sonic franchise. However, this was originally created for Japanese consumers. In North America, the release for Sonic CD was delayed to have an entirely new soundtrack that was composed by Spencer Nelson. If you grew up here in the West, then you're probably more familiar with these tracks. This is where the iconic Sonic Boom song originated. The differences between these two separate soundtracks were polarizing to say the least. I enjoy both, but if I were to choose just one that I prefer, I lean towards more of the Japanese soundtrack. Fortunately, in the Taxman re-release, you can toggle between the two soundtracks to your heart's content. However, they cut out the vocals in the opening cutscene in the Japanese soundtrack. So now this action feels justified. Well, enough of that, let's take a look at this game's story. We're introduced to this beautifully animated intro cutscene. I mean, look at this phonetic animation. It reminds me of the 90s. Sonic eventually stumbles upon an area called the Never Lake, where a planetoid called the Little Planet appears for a month, once a year. However, it's been taken over by Dr. Eggman. He plans to use the planet's time stones for world domination. The newly introduced Metal Sonic has then captured Princess Amy Rose, thanks for that manual, And of course it's up to Sonic to go stop them and free the little planet and Amy from his clutches. A more interesting premise, I'll give it that. Definitely a step up from previous installments. But hey, who plays Sonic for the story? Let's just take a look at how this game plays already. This game plays similarly to its predecessors, but there are a few stark differences. There's a few new additions to Sonic's moveset. You can use the super peel out if you hold up and press the jump button again to gain a burst of speed. As cool as this looks, I hate how you become defenseless and are prone to damage unlike the spin dash. So why not just use the spin dash? Well... this is disgusting. You have to hold the button long enough for it to work. It doesn't feel as instantaneous as Sonic 2. I get that there were two different development teams, so the spin dash wasn't the standard at this point, but Sonic 2 just did this so much better. Thankfully, the Taxman release rectified this issue, though you can use the original version of the spin dash if you're a sadist. The main new mechanic that's been introduced here is time travel. You can encounter these time warp signs where you can travel to the past or future of a given zone. I actually really love this concept. It gives more personality and variety in terms of level designs. It encourages replayability, and I enjoy how your actions can play a role in how the zones will end up. It's recommended you go to the past first so you can destroy these robot generators to help prevent a bad future. It feels rewarding. It makes you go, yeah, I did that. I saved this zone. There's also these optional metal Sonic projections you can destroy in order to save the animals in the future. It's pointless, but hey, it'll probably help you feel better about yourself for saving these innocent creatures. You're not required to do this to get the good ending. You just need to destroy the robot generators in the past in every zone to achieve it. However, if that's not your cup of tea, alternatively, you can collect 50 rings and collect all of the game's time stones. There are no Chaos Emeralds here, but if you collect all 7, you'll automatically get the good ending, and make a good future for the rest of the zones. When you enter these special stages, you'll be in a 3D-ish field where you have to destroy these UFOs before the time runs out. It's a lot harder than it looks. Touching the water will diminish your time quicker, but there are UFOs that can give you extra time. It's not the hardest special stages out of the franchise, but I honestly don't like these very much. They can be so difficult to control and be really picky on its hit detection. Fortunately, you can retry in the Taxman release if you quit and come back to try again. But these environments can get really trippy, and just a warning if you're sensitive to bright lights or prone to seizures. Be careful. What the hell's with this special stage? I'm not one who gets dizzy in video games, but these bright lights were a bit too much for me when I played it. What the hell were they thinking? Regardless, getting all the time stones shouldn't be too much of a hassle. But if that's hard for you, then there's always the option of destroying those robot generators if you're the explorative type. It's impressive how much they managed to add on to the classic Sonic formula and make a more unique approach to this adventure. Animated cinematics, an amazing soundtrack, and unique gameplay gimmicks surely set the standard for this franchise. It's all well and good until you realize how bullshit some of the game's design can be. I'm sorry, I just don't like this game's design philosophy. It feels all over the place. Time travel can be a pain in the ass. Crazy, I know. In order for you to travel to the past, you have to maintain a constant speed. That's easier said than done. Sure, there are the occasional freebies that can easily help you travel, but there's so many instances of awkward enemy placement or frustrating level gimmicks that slow you down to a halt. This makes it really difficult to keep your rings or find the generators efficiently. This game's design just feels different. I feel like they're putting more emphasis on exploration, which isn't a bad thing, don't get me wrong. They've done it well in other Sonic games such as Sonic 3, and even the handheld Sonic Boom games. Yeah, I said it. I just feel like it doesn't work well here at all. The flow just isn't there compared to other Sonic titles. Generally, most 2D Sonic levels feel more long and horizontal, but this one feels more vertical, if that makes any sense. I know they're trying to accommodate exploration so you can backtrack and revisit these zones in different time periods and search for the generators and collectibles. And I applaud their efforts, especially given the time when this was released. But then you have levels like this. Collision Chaos and Wacky Workbench are just not fun to play. They're riddled with annoying level gimmicks that primarily hinders your experience rather than enhances it. That's not to say every zone is like this. I do like Palm Tree Panic, Stardust Speedway, and Quartz Quadrant, but they still each have their own set of awkward level segments, and I find Tidal Tempest and the final level Metallic Madness to be pretty dull. But I'll give it this, at least Chibi Sonic is cute. Just look at him, how could you not like him? It's funny that there's only one bottomless pit in the whole game, and it's one of the worst I've ever encountered in a classic Sonic game. This game feels like Sonic 1 to me in the sense that I feel like half of the levels are a drag to play through. Sure, they don't take too much time to complete, but it feels bare bones unless you take the time to take your time. I normally love exploration in games, but this game just didn't really captivate me to do so. Sure, I dabble with time travel and even once managed to find all the generators in the past, but the process was really tedious. I mean, you can ignore the robot generators, time traveling, and just head straight to the goal, but if you do that, the game will just end up being too short and forgettable. And if you do remember a specific zone, then it's usually for the wrong reasons. I feel like I have to play this differently compared to other 2D Sonics. You need to be in a specific mindset while playing this. I just can't speedrun my way through it. If I do, I feel like I'm missing this game's true identity and see what makes it so special. Don't get me wrong, this game has its moments. The bosses, simple as they may be, are really unique for Sonic standards. Sure, Eggman is down after a few hits as opposed to the traditional 8. However, the method of defeating him actually requires a bit more thought. And of course the Metal Sonic race was really cool. Sure, I've had a rough time the first time playing, but I gotta admit, it was really exhilarating beating him the first time. I really appreciate all of the effort that they put into these fights. Except for this boss. Screw this boss. This boss is terrible, I hate it so much. The hit detection and these pinball mechanics feel broken. I'd rather play Sonic Spinball, and that's saying a lot. Oh crap, that's the next Sonic game I have to do on the list, isn't it? Yet somehow I ranked 139 on the leaderboards on iOS for this boss. Yeah, I know, I'm a badass. Speaking of leaderboards, who thought the UI for the time attack was a good idea? It's not intuitive whatsoever. For some reason, the first option after you choose a level is to exit, instead of, actually playing the level. And there's no option to restart during the time attack either. You have to manually exit, die, or complete the level if you want to try again. What's frustrating is that you need to get a good overall time in this mode to get the unlockables, which in itself isn't too hard to accomplish, since they removed all the time travel posts, but the process can get really tedious. So what are the unlockables then? There's the DA Garden, which acts as an interactable sound test, a visual mode if you want to watch the cutscenes, a stage select mode, and a sound test. Inputting certain codes can get interesting Easter eggs, like a few cool and cute screenshots, and pretending to be Batman.
Blue Justice, trademark pending.
You can also get an extra special stage where Eggman just stares at your soul. This can't get any worse, right? Well, the fun is certainly endless, isn't it? Looking back, I just feel like this game doesn't age as well compared to the other classic Sonic games in my opinion. It's not like I hate this game, I just don't like it. Overall, maybe it's crazy for me to say, but this is probably my least favorite classic Sonic game. Unless you count Sonic 3 or Sonic and Knuckles separately, but that's a topic for a different day. I don't know, this never resonated much to me. The obtuse level design choices, frustrating gameplay mechanics, and lack of cohesive direction has really dragged down the experience for me. I appreciate the fixes they accomplished in this remaster, but that's not enough to put this up there in my top favorites in the franchise. This game has style, I cannot deny that, and its impact surely helped shape Sonic games that were released afterwards. It even gave Sonic a voice, for Pete's sake. However, it's not perfect. No game is. Its flaws have impacted my experience. That's not to say that you probably won't like this game, or if I think you're dumb if you do. If you see something that I don't, and enjoy this game thoroughly, then I'm glad you've had a better experience. This game just isn't for me. It's not as fun anymore. I'm starting to understand why people are shifting away from discs. Maybe digital is the way to go. Ha, nah.